So one of my favorite videos on the internet goes like this. There's a group of guys who are hardcore flat earthers. They don't believe the earth is round. So they design an experiment to prove the earth is flat. It's pretty simple. They want to shine a powerful light through boards from far away enough that if the world was truly round, the curvature of the earth would make it impossible to see a light held at equal height. Because if the earth is flat, they're going to see a light shining through both holes in the boards because there's no curvature of the earth. The experiment, however, proved the opposite, that the earth is round.
We don't see you, Enrique. Lift up your light way above your head.
Despite all of the evidence, they refuse to believe the facts and instead continue to spread misinformation. Sharing misinformation is a byproduct of human connection. Our need to communicate can be more important than making sure that all the facts are in place. Last episode, we talked about why misinformation is believed, but let's talk about why it's spread and how. For that, I have an example, and it's all about llamas. Let's say I wake up in the morning and I find egg on my car. It got all over my windshield. It got all over my Llama for Congress bumper sticker. That's the new candidate, by the way. It's a llama named Llama. So I text my neighbor and he responds, "No way, dude. They clearly don't want llamas running for Congress." That's right. They must have seen my Llama for Congress bumper sticker and retaliated. So I tweet out a picture of my car with the message, "We're getting egged over here. Llama intimidation much?" It gets 50,000 retweets in just a few hours. Within a week, signs start popping up all over the neighborhood. Other llama supporters are posting this. So I'm going along my business until one day I hear something. Cluck, cluck, and I find a small nest of chickens chirping on the awning above my car. It appears that their eggs simply rolled down and fell onto my car. So I tweet out once again, guys, it wasn't anti-llama, it was chickens. But some people on social media continue to share the false claim, even some people who saw the retraction and the correction. A major news agency even reports on all the signs of the residents in the neighborhood fighting back against llama intimidation. But fortunately, no other eggings occur. So yes, the car had egg on it, but it wasn't a political attack, it was just a rogue egg from a chicken. Chicken? So why did the misinformation spread? I simply reported a fact to my neighbor, but then I jumped to conclusions and shared misinformation online. Some people then shared this misinformation because it also confirmed their belief of an anti-llama bias. Lastly, concerned neighbors posted flyers promoting the misinformation, and it all just got out of control. Even in this simple case, placing all the blame on a single group for misinformation is impossible. But back to reality. As a society, we've wrestled with intentional misinformation for years.
An historical example of advertising around snake oil sales, right? Well, it turns out that's a phrase that people are aware of, the notion of being a snake oil salesman, but it actually was a thing.
Okay, that's Brian Southwell, and he literally wrote this book on misinformation. And here's something you probably didn't know. We use the term snake oil salesman to refer to swindlers who intentionally mislead others. But the original snake oil salesmen were Chinese immigrants in the 1800s. And one product they brought with them to the States was, a snake oil that was rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which are found in many fish and can contribute to cardiovascular health. In the late 1800s, however, a traveling merchant named Clark Stanley began selling a product that he called snake oil. But it didn't actually contain snakes. Instead, it had mineral oil. It was unlikely to have any positive health effects. Why is misinformation something that it seems we just can't rid ourselves of?
When we're trying to think about explaining the diffusion of misinformation, it's important to realize all the reasons why people talk to one another, all the reasons why people engage with one another. And sometimes those reasons aren't necessarily focused just on the factual truth. Sometimes people are connecting with one another because of reasons of identity or reasons of community.
Dr. Southwell and others in the field liken information to a kind of currency that gets traded in normal conversation. But what should we do when we see someone trading in counterfeit currency or misinformation?
We've seen lots of evidence of people willingly sharing, misinformation online, in recent months, and it's something that's worried a lot of people. The first step we can take is actually one of empathy, and to realize that we're all in this together. We all, under certain circumstances, are vulnerable to misinformation. We've all made mistakes. and what we've shared.
So be more empathetic to those around us, and then also slow down and take the time to kind of verify the sources that you're looking at.
Which isn't necessarily bad advice for life in general, right? So slow down. Not necessarily spend, a week investigating, a piece of information or misinformation you found online, but at least taking 5 minutes, at least taking a moment to verify, triangulate, to try to get other sources of information.
So that's the deal. Science misinformation has been spread for thousands of years, and we are particularly vulnerable to sharing it because of the way that we communicate. Next time the real fun begins, we'll examine clickbait and misinformation in the news. And by the way, the Earth is round.